I just want to end something where, or begin something where Jeff ended. Personal relationships, I actually agree 100% with that comment. Real estate is all about personal relationships, and that's what makes, among the things, fun. Let me answer some of these questions by going through some slides a little differently than others. You can read this very quickly. I'm not going to read it. AvalonBay, unlike the others, just about everyone else on this panel, by the way, I work for a public company, New York Stock Exchange, S&P 500. My compensation is different. I'll explain that in a second. But one thing that's very different is I have all the capital I need. I love that about my situation, by the way. I don't raise money. I don't have to deal with partners in that respect. I used to develop other things I'll tell you about, but I don't need to do capital. We operate in a high barrier to entry markets on both coasts, Virginia to Boston, Seattle, and Northern and Southern California. We own, operate, develop, manage, construct only rental apartments, not for sale, not age restricted. We do mixed use, about 1 million square feet of retail where it's appropriate. We also make money through acquisitions, redevelopment, and mergers and acquisitions too when we find the right opportunity. Right now we're building $3.7 billion under construction throughout the country. Some of these jobs are $500 million. For instance, 700 units in Brooklyn is around that number. My responsibility is to run New Jersey, and that is what we have in New Jersey right now with 3 jobs under construction. Some of them may have read about the Princeton job. It's been in the newspaper for a few years because I didn't get what I wanted initially and had to convince through the court proceedings to get what I wanted. We build, I'm a developer, I build everything garden and townhome products, 2 and 3 stories. We build mid-rise products, which typically has parking decks, 4 stories in New Jersey. It's still built out of stick. We build high-rise products. Some of the Christie places is New York. West Chelsea is the High Line, by the way. We start with something that looks like this, and it ends up like that. We start with something that looks like this, and it ends up like that. And for a moment, for all those 20 to 40-year-old people in the room, I want you to live in an AvalonBay community that looks like that, or like that, or like that, or like that. So, how do we make money? My job is to find land and entitle it. There is virtually no land in New Jersey that has multifamily zoning to begin with, because you're familiar that there's a cancer in New Jersey. It's called school-age children. At least that's what mayors tell me. And that is the fight I have. I used to develop restaurants and hotels, Fridays, Wendy's, Marriott's, and people loved me then. Oh, come on in. Build a Marriott, we charge real estate tax, a hotel tax. We love that. My responsibility now is to find people that I can try to convince to do what I want them to do when viscerally they don't want to do what I want them to do. It's not easy to do that. How many hours, you got some answer about we work? I would describe it this way. I work a lot, but I enjoy what I do. But I want to emphasize something. I'm the senior executive in AvalonBay, 225 people work in New Jersey. It is important to me to have a life-work balance for everyone in my company. I'm very fortunate. My children are 24 and almost 21. I coached my kids in every single sport they did. I made parent-teacher conferences. I went on vacations when I needed to go on vacation. There is nothing about my job, very, very rarely is there an emergency situation. And when the colleagues that work for me say, hey, Ron, I have a teacher's conference and my son's got a basketball game, I immediately say, have a good time, wish your son well, I hope he plays a great game. That is important in that respect. There's that person that I know will go back on that computer at 10 o'clock at night, finish that letter of intent, I'll get it at midnight, I may review it then or 6 in the morning, but am I really going to tell that person to miss their son's basketball game? That would be very stupid to do. Typical day, you've heard some comments. I see sites. I visit opportunities. I drive around the state a lot in my car, 25,000 a year probably. But it's fun to do that. But I come back to the office and I'm reviewing pro formas. I'm meeting with professionals, architects, engineers. I'll call my interior designer because I don't like, believe it or not, I have no sense of this, but I don't like something they picked from an aesthetic point of view. I rely on people better than me with regard to that. I will negotiate on a regular basis. I did go to law school. I review pretty much my own contracts, but then I use outside counsel to do entitlements and other things involved in that. The beauty of the day is that when I wake up in the morning and I think I know what's going to happen that day, it never works out that way. That is the beauty. When I was a lawyer, some of you might be lawyers, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I left law for 2 or 3 reasons. I decided I was smarter than my clients. I decided my clients made more money than me, and that frustrated me. And the better I got, I need 2 more minutes, Paul. The better I got, there's no economies of scale. If you think about a law firm, you can only charge your hourly rate. and you reach a point where of obsolescence. So that made no sense to me. And I was going to be a partner at the second largest law firm in the state, and I said, I'm out of here. And I did leave. The job is stressful for the reasons I described. I have to rely on other people to give me what I want. That's not that fun to do in that respect. Range of earnings. I'll be more specific than everyone else. Public company, we have peer groups. So it's pretty much set. We hire in the development regime people that graduate either a graduate program like an MBA or a Master's of Public Administration or something like that. You will start as a developer, as a development manager, making the low 100s. You will get a bonus of somewhere between 20 to 30, 35% based on 3 variables: individual, business unit, and corporate performance. That is pretty standard that all the peer groups that we involve do, so it's fairly competitive with that. As you advance to a development director, you'll be eligible for long-term comp called stock, AvalonBay stock. And if you're fortunate enough to become an officer of the company, you get stock and options. It is a long-term value accretion. It is not one-hit wonder, make a few $1 million. We don't have equity in deals, as others have said. But you trade that risk, by the way, the risk reward, for a steady income and steady growth in your stock. And fortunately, no investment advice because I'm an officer today. We hit our all-time high again last week. Do I think I made a good decision? I didn't come to real estate directly. I was one of these people that's old enough now that watched a show called Perry Mason and said, I want to be a lawyer. For those of you that laughed, you remember Perry Mason walked in, Paul knows this, and scared the person on the witness stand. I said, I want to do that. And I went to Rutgers both times, and I became a lawyer. But I immediately became a real estate lawyer, a planning board attorney. There was something about the deal that I loved. And notwithstanding the front runner of the Republican Party, I think I look at it a little differently than he does and than what he looks at it. It wasn't the art of the deal, it was the personal relationships in the deal that excited me, and to get to win-win made it fun for me. So at this point, at 54 years old, after doing this for 30 years, and still using a law background, which was a good base for me, I enjoy every day that I have, including the opportunity to mentor colleagues, and frankly, again, to actually teach at Rutgers Business School is incredibly rewarding to me. So thank you very much for coming tonight.